Namaste everyone. Welcome to Advaita Vedanta Satsang House. The ongoing sessions are on Bhagavad Gita from an Advaita perspective offered by Bindoji. We are on chapter 5. We are coming close to the end of chapter 5. So the schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6:30 a.m. IST when Bindoji will be offering these classes. The replays of these rooms are available. You can access them in Clubhouse or the link shared in the chat. One is a YouTube channel called Advaita Retold. There is also links to the Apple and Spotify. There's also a book that has been authored by Artemisia based on Bindoji's insights into Advaita, which is a good companion material for those who are interested in reading. I'll close the chat and hand raising when Bindoji is offering the class, after which we'll open up those channels for any questions or clarifications. As always, thank you, Bindoji. Over to you.
Thank you, Prakash. Namaste and Hari Om to all of you. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The Gita Dhyana Shlokam. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stuvanti Divyai Stavai Vedai Sangapadakramao Upanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgadena Manasa Pashyandi Yam Yogino Yasyandam na vidusura suragana Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Oh. So yesterday we saw the first of the three verses where Brahma Nirvanam has been promised by Krishna as an end result of the Jnana Karma Sannyasa. And that has been defined as Andasukha, Andararamaha, Andarjyoti. Now in this verse, today's verse, Krishna is continuing the same thing from the point of a Vedic nature of explanation. He is using the word Rishayaha or the Rishis. Rishis are basically the masters in the Vedic period who have achieved these results themselves. Labhande Brahma Nirvanam Rishayaha Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaitaha Yata Atmanaha Sarvabhuta Hitairataha. Kshina Kalmashaha means those who have exhausted their impurities, both in their thoughts, acts, and, both manasya, vachika, karmana. Chinna Dvaita. Dvaita is duality, or it can be also Dvita. Dvita means confusion or a doubt or, avidya. So Chinna Dvaita is to indicate that they have overcome their confusion regarding Atman or Brahman. And that is further confirmed by the word yata atmana. Here, yata atmana, the atman referred word here is not about the self atman, but about the andakarana. The andakarana is yataha means anchored or established in the knowledge of Brahman. And by having done that, the rishis are exhibiting a habit which is called Sarvabhuta Hitairata. The Sarvabhuta Hitairata is basically to indicate that Sarvabhuta means all creation. Hita means the welfare or being. Rata means who are engaged in it. And such people are called Rishayaha, Rishis, and Brahma Nirvanam Labande. They also achieve the Brahma Nirvanam. They also obtain it. So it's Labande Brahma Nirvanam means they also obtain or achieve or have achieved the state of Brahma Nirvana, which was explained yesterday. So I'm not going to repeat that meaning of that Brahma Nirvana today. Who are they who achieved the Brahma Nirvana? The Rishayaha. The Rishis who are mantra drashtas or they have seen the truth directly are called Rishis. And the Rishi is a Brahmavit in the Vedic tradition, one whom Shruti reveals the truth, and their subsequent instruction to their students is what has become the Upanishads. So they have the clarity of the inner seeing of the Andarmukhata or Andardrashti. Therefore they are called the Rishis. The ones who have obtained Brahma Nirvana, they also have obtained the same, what the yogi has attained through the Andarmukhata, Andar Sukham, Andar Arama, Andar Jyoti. So Krishna is locating this achievement by the rishis also within the Vedic tradition of direct perception of aparokshanubhuti or aparokshanubhava. The immediate recognition that the Brahmavidya, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, which we have studied earlier. How did they achieve it? By Kshina Kalmashaha. Kshina means diminished, exhausted or destroyed or, negated. Kalmasha is impurity or, the Ajnana Samshaya Viparya in the mind, because of which, actions and thoughts become in the clutches of avidya. So avidya nivaranam is what is indicated by Shrina Kalmasha. The impurities are the offshoots of avidya, and that has been negated or nullified by the rishis. And how did they do it? By jnana. Because in the 17th verse, Krishna has used jnana nirdhuta kalmasha. There the word instead of Shrina, he has used the word nirdhuta, means shaken off. Here he has used the word Shrina, means exhausted or diminished or nullified. Both, the effect is the same. The jnana activity is the antidote for the avidya. Therefore, the kalmasha, whatever has been the impurities due to avidya, the only antidote of jnana removes them. So here when he used the Shrina Kalmasha, he is indicating the same process of, eradicating the Kalmasha, which is an offshoot or an after effect of the avidya, which is avidya kama karma, kama krodha, as the outputs of avidya. So Kshira Kalmasha are the adjective for the rishis who have, through their knowledge, has overcome the avidya and is now established in the Brahma Nirvana. Chinna Dvaita. Chinna means to cut or sever or, tear away from this thing. Dvaita. Actually, Dvaita and Dvaita. Slight difference is there. Dvitiyam, so Dvita and Dvaita. The two words. Dvita means second. Dvaita, what is written here is a different, the second da, are different to indicate that it is a after effect of duality. Dvaita means the second, or where we have seen the, Advaitam, right? There the takara is different. So to show that the Dvaita means the second, whereas Dvaitha is a duality or division or a doubt born out of the otherness. So the Chinna Dvaita is those who have cut or, broken away their after effects or the fallout of having the otherness. So Chinna Dvaitam cut thoroughly the duality of, in the, not only the word, when we add the word Chinna to it, it is eradicated from the root. So not only the after effect of duality or the otherness, but the very cause for it is also has been removed. Metaphysical duality is the appearance of Jagrat and Jagat, Jiva, Jagat, etc. separate from Brahman. But at the mental or psychological level, at the Antakarana level, they are in the form of Sankalpa Vikalpa, doubt and projection. Like how we do not know the reality of the rope and then we are projecting the snake onto that. Same way, intention and, the projections which we do due to non-apprehension. And that because of that, the reality which is not the reality is taken as reality. Like the rope is not the snake, but the snake is taken as the reality. This is at the Antakarana level. At the transactional level, we have the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Jiva and Jagat, etc. For both of them, the root cause is non-apprehension or the avidya, which is in the form of samshaya, ajnana samshaya viparya. Uncertainty or non-understanding of the reality of the nature of truth or Atman. So when Chinna Dvaita is mentioned, it is not gradually, but absolute eradication from the very root, without any chance for a regrowth or a doubt to spring up from that. The uprooting of avidya is indicated by the word Chinna Dvaita. Sometimes we cut a tree from the top, but the sprouts can come up. But when we uproot the shrub or remove the tree from the very root of its existence, the tree cannot regrow, and that is the death of the tree. Same way, when we have bit of doubt or bit of, viparita jnanam or the wrong knowledge, even if we try to remove them by giving the solution for it, it doesn't end there. That is what's happening to us in our day-to-day life. We are hearing the Upanishad, we are hearing Bhagavad Gita or Brahma Sutra or the lectures from on the Advaita, and every logical reasoning is given to us that we are not what we are. We are using our body, mind and intellect for our transaction purpose. All these knowledge what we read, whether it's a Parokshanubhuti or, Drigdrishya Viveka or Vakyavritti or any other book or Viveka Chodamani, Upanishad, Gita, etc. We are completely understanding, able to appreciate at our intellectual level the logic behind it, the applicability of it, the reality of it. But what happens is that the moment we stop listening to that, or the moment we are out of the ambience of the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana level, what happens is that the ego-centric individuality, association with our mind and the sense organs, like the sprout coming up from a tree which has been cut, they come up again and they grow into a big shrub covering the very stem which has been cut. We do not know where we had done the, removal of the stem. The tree grew, the sprouts are capable of shrouding or covering the very source where it had been cut. Same way, our engagement back in the transactional world in the waking as individuals, the association with our name, like Bindu, Prakash or any name what we are associating with that, we become that. We operate at that level. And our mind, which has now been not eradicated of the avidya or the misconception that we are the individual jiva living in this world, that continues to operate. So what do Krishna mean by, what does Krishna mean by Chinna Dvida, Rishayaha? Do they mean the Rishayas are not in a position to get back to their normal life, or teaching the students, having food, all, activities of the body, Truth Pipasa, that is the hunger and thirst, living Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, our day-to-day activities of waking, dream and deep sleep, and the transactions of each one of them. Do they do not get back into that? Or do they not stop being human beings? Think about it. This is where we need to do our own nididhyasana, the uprooting of the avidya in us. And when the uprooting of the avidya is done, for that only Krishna is using the next word, yatatmana. Yata means controlled. Atmana here is not the self, but the andakarana. Those who have restrained their andakarana. Their andakarana, or their mind and intellect, is restrained in such a way that they do not go back to the jivahood, or they deal the jivahood with the knowledge. It's difficult for us to understand that unless we uproot our avidya from each one of us. It is the avidya that I am the human being with this body, mind and intellect, transacting in this world, keeps us back as human beings and transacting. Where kama, krodha, etc. take upper hand, and then we become slaves of those. We are not able to know the andasukha, the happiness within us. We are not resting on our inner true nature, andararama. And we are not seeing things from the Atma Jyoti, but we are seeing things with the Surya or Chandra or the physical lights which are showing us the experiences. But in all this time, when it is happening, never there is a period or never there is a moment when the Atma or Brahman was not the cause for, or not the light in which even the sun, the moon, or the sense organs or the andakarana is able to apprehend or know things, or their awareness, knowledge, consciousness happening. We are not able to make the shift from the jivahood to the Atman, to the Brahman. Therefore, we get back into the problems related with our andakarana. And then we create kalmasha. So unless we understand the reality as our true nature, swamshikaranam, that is knowing our true nature, as our Swa Amsha or our true nature. While knowing, while learning, while listening, while doing manana or while doing nididhyasana, if we are not able to abide, identify and take refuge in our true nature, we cannot be Shrina Kalmasha. Our impurities of avidya will push us back into the humanhood. Technically, logically, and applicability wise, the Upanishad, the Shastra, the Gita has told us what we are. Yet, the Anubhava or the Aparoksha Anubhava for us is still evading us. But what happens when it is realized? That is indicated by the word Sarva Bhuta Hitairata. The word meaning, literal meaning is that concern for the welfare of all beings. Hita means welfare. Sarva Bhuta means all beings. Rata means one who relishes in it. So how does this Sarva Bhuta Hitairata relate to the Kshina Kalmasha or Yatatmanaha or Chinnadvita? How did Krishna relate these three qualifications of the rishis, that is Kshina Kalmasha, Chinnadvita or Yatatmanaha, to the Sarva Bhuta Hitairata? Think. This has been explained by Krishna in the earlier verses. In the 7th verse of this chapter, Krishna mentioned a word, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. If you remember that word, becoming the Atma of Sarva. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. You may go back and listen to the lecture of 7th verse. Not only that, he mentioned that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gevihastini Shunijaipas Shopakeja Pandita Samadarshinaha. So Sarva Bhuta Hitairata and Samadarshanaha and Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma is conveying the same message from three different aspects. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma is the effect at the innermost level of our being. The moment we realize our true nature as that we are the Atman or Brahman, this is what the Chandogya Upanishads mentioned. Yatra nanyat pasyati anyat shrunoti anyat vijanati. Anyat, there is otherness has been removed. When the otherness is removed, the Sarva Bhuta is not a reality. because there is no anyat, there is no otherness. So Sarva Bhuta means all creation, it becomes an illusion or an appearance or not a reality. And when this is realized in our inner bosom by the knowledge that we are Atma and there is nothing called Sarva, because Atma and Brahman is being the same. The Sarvam is nothing but the same. And that is the reason why Vidya Vinaya Sambanne Brahmane Gevi Hastini Shuni Chaipa Shopahake Pandita Samadarsina. That Samadarsitvam in the variations of the appearances. Example may not be appropriate, but something very similar to a person who knows the images and the characters, the sceneries, the hero, the villain, the lady of the hero, heroine appearing in the screen. All of them are nothing but light rays reflected from a screen. A person who knows, he may see the movie, he see the projection. When he sees the projection, he has the understanding that what is being projected is light, and what is he seeing is light. He is unaffected by the events that is happening on the screen. But a bala, a child, or a person who forgets for the moment that he is watching a movie, get associated with the hero or heroine or the event in the screen, will start emotionally reacting to it, crying or laughing. These reactions will come from such a person because for a moment, he forgets that he is watching a movie. He associates with the character. This is what is happening to us every moment of our life. We are taking the Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma, our nature, to be forgotten for a moment, and then Sarva Bhutatma, every creation, every appearance in this world of the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, of me, and not only mine, but everyone in the projection as others, the Dvita, the second, the otherness which I am seeing, they also become real to me in that appearance. Not only I consider myself as a reality in the projection. In the projection, what is being projected as otherness, like the Jagat, Jagrat, Jagat, Jiva, Jagat, they are also become reality to me. But a Pandita, one who has realized it, or a Rishi who has Chinnadvita, who has uprooted this projections reality to be the reality of his own nature. He sees the Sarva Bhutatma as himself. He doesn't see it as separate from him. Yatra nanyat pasyati anyat shrunoti anyat vijanati. Or neha anasti kenjana. Nodhyudiyam asti. Many statements from the many Upanishads which we look is indicating us towards only. Even we look at that thread, Ishava Semidam Sarva, Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. All those statements from the Upanishads which we have studied, from the earlier verses of Gita, is indicating to us that there is no sarvam. And if at all we are having the experience of sarvam at our mind intellectual level, it only shows that we are not yadatma. We are not restrained our mind or intellect, antakarana, to abide in reality. Only when we abide in that reality, we will become sarva bhuta hitairata. It is sarva bhuta hitairata not to us from our point of view when we are abiding in that. We do not see anything separate from us. So, our actions become welfare of our own reflections. Like how we take care of our own reflection in a mirror. Now, assume there are million mirrors and we are seeing our own reflections in the million mirrors. How we dress up in one mirror will be the same how we dress up in all the million mirrors. Because there is only one reality which is being reflected in the one mirror or a million mirrors. So Sarva Bhuta Hidairata is not a special effort of taking care of the Sarvam as a million creatures or million creations in this world. No. When we know the reality, it is all nothing but the projection of from my own. Yatra nanyat pasyati anyat shrunoti anyat vijanati. When that is our abidance, then only we become yadatma, restrained in our inner. If this inner instrument of ours, the andakarana, cannot delude us anymore. And when it cannot delude us anymore, we become purified of all the impurities, Kshina Kalmasha. And that Kshina Kalmasha and Chinna Dvita are not too different from that point of view. If we can understand this aspect of it, we can understand how the Rishi is expressing himself through the words of the Upanishad. He is showing benevolence to the students. He is telling the truth. He is explaining it even though it is not explainable by words. Yado vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. He takes the effort in explaining it using words that which is not bound by words. What can be more benevolent or hitairata from a point of view of a rishi? From our point of view, he is sarva bhuta hitairata. From his point of view, there is no sarvam for him because chinna dvita, all duality, all the otherness has been eradicated. So what he is being natural. From our point of view, when we have not achieved that state, we feel all the masters are benevolent masters, compassionate, oozing empathy and love. Our evaluation and explanation and, narration of the teacher is like that. But from the teacher's point of view, he doesn't see the second. Yatra nanyat pasyati. He doesn't see the otherness. We will move to the next verse to complete this process. He achieved Brahma Nirvana and he became Sarva Bhuta Hitairata. Then what happens? Kama Krodha Viyuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasa Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. This is the concluding statement by Krishna. Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. That state of Brahma Nirvana, Abhita Vartate. Abhitaha means all around. It is, what you call the Prajnana Ghana, or it is the mass of Brahma Nirvana. Or the 100% purity in which the abidance in Brahman takes place. And he is calling here the same Rishi or the Yogi as a Yeti. Because Kama Krodha Viyuktana, Kama and Krodha are the after effects of Avidya. Viyukta means separation. Again, the Chinna word is the previous verse. This here he is using a similar meaning but a different word. Yukta, Viyukta. Viyukta means separated, completely separated. V has two meanings to it. V is a suffix which gives a vishesha or completeness. It at the same time, when it is joined with the word yukta, becomes a negative meaning that separation. Yukta means attached. Viyukta means detached or separated. But the V suffix has got a dual purpose. It also brings the complete detachment of Kama Krodha, are to indicate the avidya and its after effects. Because in the 23rd verse, Krishna mentioned, Kama Krododbhavam Vegam Sodum Shaknoti. It is possible to withstand the force or the velocity of onslaught of karma and krodha when we have this knowledge. And in the 26th verse, this verse is the effect of it, where he is saying that the person Yeti has completely separated from the Kama and Krodha, because he is able to now know the reason or the source from which Kama and Krodha is coming, and he has uprooted it completely. Chinna Dvita in the previous verse. Because of that Dvita, the duality is the cause for the Kama Krodha in the Andakarana. It is removed from the very source by the Yeti. And the word Yeti is not a simple meaning of one who restrains or one who has control over his own actions. But here the Yeti is a person with Yatachetasa. Chetas means mind, consciousness or inner awareness. It is not Chaitanyam here. It is the Chetas, the reflection of Chaitanyam in the mind, consciousness as inner awareness. What we are using for our transactional world. The Andarjyoti, the inner light, when it reflects in the mind, consciousness or intellect or, Andakarana, it is called Chetas. And Yata Chetasa means he is restraining the Andarjyoti reflection in the mind, interest, and intellect. What is he restraining? He is restraining that light not to confuse the same mind and intellect, because of which Kama and Krodha can come up. The Kama and Krodha will come up if we are not knowing the source of the energy or the force or the light which is reflected in our Antakarana, because of which we have the individuality of the ego. And the mind and the intellect thinks it is the individual. All those functions of the Antakarana, Chetas, is being restrained, Yataha, Yata Chetasa. It is not a restraining by force of, not the mind or the intellect getting engaged in the illusion or the appearances. The restraining is coming from knowledge. Jnana, nirduda jnana kalmasha. When the jnana is accompanying the chetas in the mind and the intellect, the same mind and intellect becomes yata chetasa. Because Atman or Brahman doesn't need jnana, because that is the jnana swarupa. By nature it is consciousness, awareness. But when awareness and consciousness reflect in our mind, we are not knowing the reflection of the Andarjyoti in our mind and intellect, but we take it as sources of consciousness or energy or the consciousness. So our vrittis, what is happening in our Antakarana? Vrittis are nothing but the reflected light or the chetas or the Andarjyoti within the Antakarana. They become the reality for us. And transaction using that light or the reflected light in the mind, Antakarana, we think we are the human beings with the mind and intellect as our inner equipment, sense organs linked to the mind and the intellect. We are the enjoyer, karta, bhokta. The kartrutvam and the bhoktrutvam, which we adopt ourselves, is when the chetas or the antakarana is not restrained or brought under the control of jnana. That is why it is called avidya or ajnana. The ajnana and the avidya is at the antakarana level, not at the atman or brahman. In the Sunday's question answer, some captain came and asked, is Brahman and Atman the same, or Brahman and Maya the same? His question was not unfounded, because he has not studied the Advaita properly from a teacher properly, or the method with the popular understanding. Reading an English translation of the textbooks will not give you the insight like listening to a person who can explain it. We call them teachers, guru, not because he has something special in him. No, he has learned the matter in such a way that he can explain it. Idi Shushruma Purvesham. This is how the tradition is being maintained in the Advaita tradition. This method of explanation from one person to another person is required for proper understanding. A translation cannot substitute a live person's explanation. Why do we have practical classes for our science subjects like chemistry or biology or physics, etc.? Application of theory establishes our knowledge to such an extent that we live through the experiments, and that those experiments become our practical examples for our understanding of the theory. These classes of Advaita, what is being done by many masters in this world, are the practical classes where the Nididhyasana done by the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana student does the experiment of Manana Nididhyasana along with the teacher who does the Manana Nididhyasana while explaining the Upanishad or Gita. This will give a practice for listeners with which they can become yatachetasa. They will learn the methodology of restraining their mind and intellect into a proper manana and nididhyasana. Krishna has kept this word yatachetasa only from the purpose of that whatever is being done from within, the antarmukhata, is the yatachetasa. We learned this in the Kathopanishad, because by default the sense organs and mind is always turned outward for the Vishayas. And when we learn that guna guneshu vartante, or the indriyarteshu vartante, excuse me, when we learn that, we learn to bifurcate the indriya and the indriyartha and not get confused in the engagement of the indriya with the indriyartha or the guna gunesh. When we learn that the indriya to be separated from the Indriyartha, we can control the Kama and the Krodha. And this Kama, Krodha, when it is restrained, that is what the Kama, Krodha, Viyuktana. The Yada Chetasa becomes complete only when the Kama, Krodha, Viyukta takes place. And when this happens, all over, there is no all over or every side. Abhita means the word, Abhita means on all sides or everywhere. Not a distant goal to be achieved or not a future state to in which we will be the Brahma Nirvana or a unique, experience in our Antakarana. It is not like that. When Krishna says Shaknoti Ihayeva, it is to say here Ihayeva means no, now or nowhere. Here itself, present on all sides or everywhere. It is not a spatial declaration. It is to remove all temporal and spatial limitation we are having in our understanding. To grow beyond time and space. To enlarge in our capacity spatially. And to extend our limitation to infinity. Together, when we do that, when the space and time is conquered, because space and time is an appearance in the chetas, in the mind, in the intellect. When we do the yada chetas, we are transporting ourselves or transcending ourselves beyond the time and space. Together, that is called the Brahma Nirvana. Here and now, Abhidaha. And Krishna says, Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. See, the word Vartate in Sanskrit is exist. Brahma Nirvanam Vartate means Brahma Nirvanam exists all over. There is nothing other than Brahma Nirvana. It is simply exists, already present, abides. Yeah, it is not somewhere outside where we'll reach or somewhere something which will happen. It is already existing. All we are doing is breaking the shackle of the individuality of Jiva. As a limited individual, limited by the mind and the intellect to the world of objects and engagement with Kama and Krodha, all of them are broken by the. And that is the Brahma Nirvana which Krishna is talking about. And it is not something which is achieved or something which is going to happen in future. Here and now, Iha Eva. And Shaknoti and Vartate become one. The possibility of happening is now shown as it is already existing. So if we can meditate on these three verses, do a proper Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana on these three verses, we don't need anything more. It is the sum total of all the Upanishads. Sum total of all the advices Krishna can give to Arjuna. which is being now conveyed to us through the Gita. And if we do not make use of it, a lifetime is wasted. Ihacheta vedi ata satyamasti, nacheti ha vedi mahati vinashti. There cannot be a bigger calamity or bigger loss. And such people who do not do it are called kripanaha in the Brihadaranya Bhashya, where Gargi says to, Yajnavalkya, te kripanaha. Those people who cannot do it in this life, achieve it in this life or know it in this life and abide in this, they are the miserly people because they think that everything what they experience in the world outside is covetable and achievable. But they don't realize that they are all illusions, or they are all nothing but reflections of the one reality in which everything is present. Sarvabhuta hitairata. With this, the 5th chapter has entered. There are 3 verses which I said is as an introduction to the 6th chapter, which we will start tomorrow. But it is as good as in the 6th chapter. But it is why Krishna has introduced this after having explained Brahma Nirvana is intriguing to me also. But since it has been given by the tradition in this chapter, we will continue this next 3 verses, but our mind will be tuned toward the oncoming subject in the 6th chapter. The numbering will be remain for the 5th chapter, but when the 6th chapter, we'll change the number to 6-1, etc. Till then, we'll continue with this. And I am planning to take a Upanishad called the Kaivalya Upanishad or Ashvalayana Upanishad after the 6th chapter, because the meditation technique which is being taught in the 6th chapter need to be put into practice instantaneously. And once that is done properly, the remaining Bhagavad Gita will become much easier with a qualified mind and the inner instruments which is ready to absorb the instruction of Krishna. I stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamutachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Thank you very much, Binduji. I've opened the chat and hand raising for any follow-up questions or discussions. So with the chapter 5, Binduji, we have, you said we will shift to chapter 6, but we will continue. How many rooms are remaining? Can you forecast or predict?
There are 3 more verses to be done. So maybe 2 rooms will be approximately required
We can
for
just take it,
completing that.
we can take it by
You'll take it as it goes, Prasad, Prakash.
Sure, certainly. Certainly. And then you said after chapter 6, we will do an Upanishad, right?
Yeah, I'm planning to do Kaivalya Upanishad, which is part of the, meditation technique and useful for the, application of what we learn in chapter 6 for those who want to take meditation, dhyana,
Yes.
dhyana yoga. It will be very helpful for that.
Thank you very much, Binduji.
Namaste, Revati.
Pranam Bindaji.
Pranam. Yes, go ahead, Pranam.
You're muted.
Revati, you are muted. Revati, you are muted.
Bindaji, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Now
network
I can hear
issues.
you. Yeah.
The Yatachetasa is it is Shuddha Antakarana, where there is the reflection of Chaitanya is there.
Yes.
Much
Because
noisy.
the Andarjyoti, which is the reason why we are having experiences. Pratibodha Viditam. But when we are having the experiences, we are not applying the rule that indriyarteshu vartande or guna guneshu vartande. That is not happening as a natural habit to us. Let there be Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. What is the problem? The problem is only when we think that we are the one who is in the Jagrat. But when we have that knowledge, jnana, the Yatachetasa can be in the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. At the same time, he knows that Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is the nature of the Swabhava. Swabhavastu pravartate. Is the Swabhava of the Andarjyoti itself to project Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Just as the Swapna is projected, we have no problem with the Swapna. But all our problems are in the Jagrat. Because in the Jagrat, we are not able to live and be in the knowledge, in the jnana that the Chetas or the Antakarana of the Jagrat is not the reality, but it is a reflected Chaitanya in the Antakarana, which is now becoming the source for the Indriyas to interact with the Jagrat world. And that interaction with the Jagrat world, Paranchigani Vidranam Swayambhu Tasmat Varan Pasyadinandaratma, is there why he is not able to see Dukkha, because he gets engaged with the Indriyas and the Indriyarteshu, forgetting that what is the power or what is the energy or what is the source or Chaitanya with which the Indriyas are working. Forgetting that, he develops Kama and Krodha. And that is the whole problem of what we are facing in our life. The Jivahood, in the feeling that I am a Jiva with the Sharira, that I am the individual Jiva, is a feeling coming out of that when the Chetas is not controlled or restrained with the Jnana. So Yada Chetasa, when it is functioning, he becomes a Pandita with the Samadarshitvam. And when Samadarshitvam he is there, then he is appearing to be a Sarva Bhuta Hita Rata for others. But from his point of view, he is Chinnadvita. He doesn't have duality at all. The otherness is not there at all. He is being same to himself, not as a Jiva in the Jagrat, but as the Atma, which is the Atma of everything, where the Anyat Pasyati, Anyat Shrunoti, Anyat Vijanati.
Yes, Bindaji, clear. And Sarvabhuta Hittai, it's not understood as the jnani should have compassion, or he should love everybody and
No,
stretch a hand to help. It's
huh,
not like that, but
no, it's not like that.
but it's instead he should help them, help everyone
No,
to.
he becomes an akarta abhokta. So he has nothing to do for anything. Na kinchit karoti haha. Have you forgotten those verses? He is not
Yes.
doing anything.
Yes.
So where is the sarvabhuta hitairata comes? From others' point of view.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Vindaji.
Thank you, Revati. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow.
I just had one clarification, Bindu. The
Go ahead.
is Chinna Dvaita, right? Chinna Dvaita.
Chinna Dvaita.
Chinna Dvaita, which is splitting, no more of the duality, right?
Uprooting duality.
Uprooting duality. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you everyone for
It can
coming.
understood as Bindaji, neutralized also, the Dvaita.
Yeah, neutralized means, I mean, when you are uprooting, it's neutralized.
Yes,
Means it
yes.
cannot be effective at all. That the, what you call avidya cannot function at that time.
Yes, Bindaji. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending today's session. The replay is available in Clubhouse, or you can access them in Advaita Retold YouTube channel. So, as Bindoji has always reminded us, the Sravana Manana is only going to strengthen the Nididhyasana. And today's recommendation was to do sincere Manana on the 3 verses that Binduji is explaining to us with a sense of urgency. So thank you very much, Bindoji. And I think there's no further announcements, I think, except that people who are listening to the replays will get updated about the progress into chapter 6, and after that the Upanishad that will follow through. As always, thank you, Bindoji. Over to you to close the room.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Revati. Thank you all for listening. Please listen to this again and again. It will be definitely helpful for doing Manana and Nididhyasana. See you all tomorrow. Hari Om. Have a good day.
Thank you.